HTML, Hypertext Markup Language, is a markup language used for creating web pages and applications. It is the standard language used for creating and structuring content on the web. HTML uses a set of tags and attributes to define the structure and layout of a web page. HTML is the foundation of all web pages and is the first step in creating a website. Let us move on to the structure of the HTML. So here you can see the structure of the HTML, which is having various tags. The doctype HTML, a declaration at the beginning of the document, tells the browser that this is an HTML5 document. The HTML tag encloses the entire document, and the head and body tags enclose the head and body sections of the document, respectively. The meta tag is used to provide metadata about the document, such as the character encoding and viewport settings. The title tag is used to define the title of the page, which is displayed in the browser tab and used by search engines. Within the body section of the document, there are a variety of tags that can be used to structure and format content. Some common tags include H1 to H6 used to define headings and subheadings. P used to define paragraphs of text. A used to create links to other pages or resources. IMG used to insert images into the document. HTML headings are used to define the structure and hierarchy of content on a web page. They are used to indicate the main headings and subheadings of a page. HTML provides 6 levels of headings, from H1 to H6. H1 is the largest and most important heading, while H6 is the smallest and least important. Each heading level should be used in a logical order, with H1 being used for the main heading of the page and subsequent levels being used for subheadings. Here's an example of how headings can be used to structure content on a web page. Here we having 6 heading tags and we are giving some sample text as hi everyone to all the heading tags. We can check the difference between each tag in the output. Here we also have heading tag, which is used to display the heading of a page at top of the web page. So here we can observe the 6 headings with different sizes. Here we are having maximum size for the H1 tag and lowest size for the H6 tag. This show the difference between each heading tags in HTML. Now we will move on to the HTML paragraph tag. The PA tag in HTML is used to define paragraphs of text on a web page. This tag is one of the most commonly used HTML tags, as it is used to structure and format the majority of textual content on a web page. To use the PA tag, simply wrap the text that you want to be in a paragraph within the opening and closing PA tags. For example, if you wanted to create a paragraph of text about a particular topic, you would write. You can use multiple P tags on the same page to create multiple paragraphs of text. This is useful for breaking up large blocks of text into smaller, more manageable sections. Here in the display we can observe the 2 paragraph tags. The main difference between heading tags and paragraph tags in HTML is their function and the type of content they are used to format. Heading tags, such as H1 through H6, are used to define the structure and hierarchy of the content on a web page. On the other hand, paragraph tags, represented by the PA tag, are used to define paragraphs of text on a web page. The HTML anchor tag, represented by the A tag, is used to create hyperlinks on a web page. In the below example we have provided Google URL to ref attribute of an anchor tag, so when we click on the visit Google link text then we will redirect to the Google home page as soon in the display. Hyperlinks are clickable links that take the user to another page, location on the same page, or to a different section of the same page. The target property in the HTML anchor tag, A, is used to specify where the linked page should open. The target attribute can be set to one of several different values, depending on how you want the linked page to be opened. The most common values for the target attribute are _blank, This value tells the browser to open the linked page in a new window or tab. You can use an image in the HTML anchor tag to create an image link. This allows you to create clickable images that link to other pages or sections within the same page. Here's an example of how to create an image link using the anchor tag. In this example, the ref attribute specifies the URL of the page you want to link to, and the img tag specifies the path to the image file and its alt text. When a user clicks on the image, they will be taken to the page specified by the ref attribute. Here you can see the image we provided is Instagram logo. So whenever user clicks the logo or image, then it will redirect the user to the specified URL. The HTML button tag is used to create clickable buttons on a web page. Buttons are commonly used to perform actions, such as submitting a form, triggering a JavaScript function, or navigating to another page. Here's an example of how to create a basic button using the button tag. In this example, the text, "Click me," is enclosed within the opening and closing button tags, creating a clickable button. You can also use the type attribute to specify the type of button you want to create. In HTML, an element is a piece of code that begins with a start tag, includes some content, and ends with an end tag. Elements are used to define the structure and content of a web page. Here's an example of an HTML element. In this example, the h1 tag is the start tag, the text, "This is a paragraph" element, is the content, and the /h1 tag is the end tag. HTML elements can also include attributes, which are used to provide additional information about the element. Attributes are always specified in the start tag and consist of a name and a value, separated by an equal sign. Here's an example of an HTML element with an attribute. In this example, the data tag is the start tag, the text, "home," is the content, and the /a tag is the end tag. The ref attribute is used to specify the URL that the link should point to. The HTML.img tag is used to embed images into a web page. Images are an important part of web design, as they can help to break up text, illustrate concepts, and provide visual interest. Here's an example of how to use the img tag to insert an image into a web page. In this example, the src attribute specifies the path to the image file. In HTML, you can set a background image for an element using the background image CSS property. This property is used to specify the URL of the image file that should be used as the background, like this. In this example, we've created inline CSS and applied it to the body tag. We've set the background image property of the body to the URL of our image file. When the page is loaded, the image will be used as the background for the body of the page. Remaining about the background image will be discussed in CSS. In HTML, a class is an attribute that can be added to HTML elements to identify them as part of a specific group or category. The class attribute is used to apply styles to groups of elements or to target specific elements with JavaScript or CSS. Here is an example of how the class attribute can be used in HTML. In this example, the class attribute is used to identify the h1 tag as heading. The CSS style rules are then applied to all elements with the class heading, causing the text to appear in red using color property. Classes are commonly used to apply styles to groups of elements on a web page, but they can also be used to identify elements for other purposes, such as JavaScript, Classes can be used to select and manipulate elements with JavaScript. For example, the document.getElementsByClassName method can be used to select all elements with a specific class. CSS classes can be used to target specific elements with CSS styles. For example, the .header class selector will apply styles to all elements with the class header. Accessibility classes can be used to improve the accessibility of a web page by providing additional information about the purpose or function of an element. Here you can see in the display the heading tag h1 is displayed in red color, so classes are used to apply CSS to the particular selected class. We can understand it more clearly now. With another example. Here now we are considering another example. Here we are creating a paragraph tag with class name as para with sample text in it. So now we are going to write internal CSS for the para class by accessing it as .para. Now let's us give some CSS properties to the para class. For suppose let's give color property to the para class. So here we have taken two classes. One is for heading and another is for paragraph. So here we can apply CSS for both tags separately as the class name is different. So here you can see, as we defined, h1 is having red color and paragraph is having green color. So by this we can get clarity about classes in HTML, we can see more about them in CSS. In HTML, an ID is an attribute that can be added to an HTML element to uniquely identify it on the page. Unlike classes, IDs must be unique, meaning they can only be applied to one element on the page. Here is an example of how the ID attribute can be used in HTML. In this example, the ID attribute is used to uniquely identify the heading element and the para text element. This makes it possible to target these elements with CSS or JavaScript. To apply an ID to an HTML element, add the ID attribute to the opening tag and give it a value that uniquely identifies the element. Here the output looks like same as the class ones, but the main important of the ID is that it is used to identify the elements uniquely, so we give unique ID to the elements. In HTML, lists are a way to group related items together. There are two types of lists that can be used: unordered lists, UL, and ordered lists, OL. An unordered list is a list of items that are not numbered or ordered in any particular way. It is created using the UL tag, and each list item is created using the delete tag. Here is an example of an unordered list. In this example, the UL tag creates an unordered list, and the delete tags create the list items. Item 1. Item 2. Item 3. Unordered lists are often used to group related items together, such as a list of product features or a list of related links. Unordered lists can also be nested within each other to create sublists. For example, it's important to use lists in HTML to properly structure content and improve accessibility for users. The resulting list would look like this. As we have defined the items in unordered lists, that we get some circular points to the items. Here you can look the display how the items are displayed. And the scenario is different in ordered list, we can see that also. In HTML, an ordered list is a list of items that are numbered or ordered in a specific way. It is created using the UL tag, and each list item is created using the delete tag. Here is an example of an ordered list. In this example, the UL tag creates an ordered list, and the delete tags create the list items. Item 1. Item 2. Item 3. Item 4. Same like as the UL, the items are created, but we can understand the difference between ordered and unordered in the output. Here in display you can see the ordered list is displayed numbered or ordered in a specific way. In HTML, the DL tag is used to create a description list. A description list consists of terms and their corresponding descriptions. Each term is enclosed in a tag, and each description is enclosed in a tag. Here is an example of a description list. In this example, the DL tag creates a description list, and each term is enclosed in a tag, and each description is enclosed in a tag. The resulting description list would look like this. Tables are used to organize and display data in a structured manner, making it easier for users to read and understand the information being presented. In HTML, the table tag is used to create a table. Here is an example of a simple table. To create table in HTML, we are having a tag known as table tag, so we all know that is table is a set of rows and columns. So to define the rows in HTML, we use tr tag known as table row, and to define the column names of table we use the th tag that is known as table heading. This tag is used inside the first tr tag, and then, to write the data to table, we use another row, and in that row tag we are using a tag called as td tag, which is known as table data tag. So here we can write the data to the table by using this tag. And here we need to take td tags equal count to the th tags. Here in this example you see the code flow. Here we can see the content of the table, but here we are unable to see the structure of the table. So let's us write some CSS to make the table structure visible. Because by default the borders of table is having white color. Now we need to write CSS for the table. So we can write the CSS internally for now. So we all know the way of writing the CSS for a tag. So here we are taking table tag and th tag and td tag directly and writing the internal CSS. So here let's us give some border to the table by using CSS border property. So I am giving here 0.1px solid black as value. Here 1px solid defines the thickness of the border, so now here you see clearly the table is having some border with black color. We can also write more CSS to design the table in effective manner. But for beginners it is enough about the HTML table. I hope you guys have understand the basic concepts of the HTML clearly. If you are having any queries, you feel free to comment in comment section. Thank for watching. Please do subscribe.